What's up? It's Ryan134, and I'm going to talk about a random game that doesn't really get that much attention. In fact, it doesn't really get that much attention at all. I just thought talking about this game for a good portion of time.
We Ski and Snowboard.
So We Ski and Snowboard is a game for the Wii made by Bandai Namco, released in 2008 or 2009 depending on where you're from. It's basically just this game where you can, ski and snowboard around different courses. This game is technically a sequel to the game We Ski, and after these games came the game Go Vacation, which you can do a lot more stuff than just skiing and snowboarding. I guess Namco just saw SSX and it was like,
What if we put a snowboard in We Ski?
so when you first boot up the game, it gives you the option to choose between a Wii Remote, a nunchuck, and a balance board with a Wii Remote and nunchuck. A little known fact about We Ski is that it was the first third-party game to include support for the Wii balance board. I mean, using the balance board is nice and all, but people only really use that when you're playing Wii Fit. So most likely you'll end up just choosing the Wii Remote and nunchuck, and having to use less of your motion controls kind of feels a little better too. So when you choose a character in this game, you have an option to pick whether you want to choose a Mii or an avatar. Honestly, who the hell is going to use an avatar when you have the Miis? I mean, it kind of just fits it way better for a Wii game. You also get to customize their gear or whatever, which is also kind of cool. This game has two different courses, the Jamboree Snow Resort or Mount Angry or however the hell it's pronounced. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Jamboree Snow Resort. So now the game allows you to have up to 4 players, but if you have no one else to play with like me, you can select party members, which are basically just computers that are allowed to ski and snowboard along with you. Neat ass feature that nobody asked for. Still a pretty neat feature though. And also the inclusion of night and day is actually pretty good too. There's also this loading screen, which is pretty cool in my opinion since you get to find a freaking snowman. Now this game's an open world game, so of course it's gonna have a shitload of places for you to go. I don't really feel like talking about everything in the freaking course, so I'm just gonna tell you about the cool stuff that's in the course. Most of the time you just gotta start up from the top and make your way down against this, I don't even know what it's called, I guess just this empty spot. Winding Viper is one of the courses you can go from the top of the Snow Resort. It's technically the longest course in the whole ass snow resort too. And from the top, it's most likely the place you go to the other types of courses in the snow resort. Grizzly Peak being the other place where you can go from the top of the snow resort. Mostly has like moguls and stuff, I think it's called. I don't really know what it's called. You can only really use it with skis because with snowboards it doesn't really end up in a good result. So 9 times out of 10 you're probably just gonna choose Winding Viper anyways. Then there's this freaking bridge we can also use as a rail slide. Falcon Wing is another course I found it was notable to call out. It's pretty much a really cool course where you just I guess do tricks and shit. It kind of looks like it was made for racing, but that's also really cool. There are also similar courses like that, like Alligator Back, Buffalo Rush, and Snow Panther. Kangaroo Park has to be one of my favorite places to go into the resort. It's got a lot of shit to do, like rail sliding, you get ramps and shit. There's one big ass ramp that you could do a lot of tricks on. It's even got a whole ass Ferris wheel that you can't even go on. But yeah. Once you get to the bottom of the snow resort, it kind of feels like a plaza or some type of thing like that. Also, if you want to go in other places in the snow resort without pausing the game or viewing the map, there's plenty of lifts, or gondolas, I think that's what the other thing is pronounced. Gondolas are usually for the longer trips along the snow resort, while the lifts are most likely for the shorter ones. And there are a few other lifts throughout the other parts of the snow resort too. It's really fun to see your meet and interact with each other and do like a bunch of weird shit, I guess. Like with their facial expressions and I guess starting a conversation, I don't know. Apart from those things though, there's also a big ass radio station which plays soundtracks from other Namco games, including series like Ridge Racer, Katamari, Tekken, and other stuff like that. I also like the detail that they include a bunch of like announcements and shit. You're also able to interact with other people on the resort, which I don't really feel like talking about because I didn't really capture footage of any of that. So yeah. Most of the time when playing with party members, you're usually the first to get through everything. Because the party members are kind of freaking slow. Takes a good ass while for them to catch up with you.
You can also look at instant replays of you skiing or snowboarding in the different courses, each of them having different types of music.
So overall, Jamboree Snow Resort has a lot of character put into it. Has a lot of places you can go and a lot of shit you can do. And the night view makes it very cool to look at. So now before I get into the mountain, I just want to talk about the gear real quick. Because it has a few stuff that's worth pointing out in my opinion. So for the outfits of your characters, there are plenty of options for you to choose from. First there's current style, which kind of just has like jackets and shit. Then there's retro style. And then there's down, which pretty much just gives you a big ass jacket. There's t-shirts in case you didn't want to wear a freaking jacket. There's racing style. There's cargo style. There's a freaking wild style with which the outfits kind of look pretty cool in my opinion. And then there's a freaking special style which includes a lot of creative shit. They also chose a few options for the ski selection, like straight, carving, straight long, carving short, and the special style. The special style also includes a lot of creative shit, like freaking colored pencils, Wii remotes that you can ski on, guess like freaking dog bones, and also you can ski on thin air. Yeah. And there are also other types of selections for skis, like the gloves, the stocks, and the ski boots, which I do not feel like going through. For snowboards, however, you're able to choose through regular foot or goofy foot. I guess it's just left and right handiness, pretty much. So for the snowboard selection, it's really just normal snowboard or a special snowboard. Honestly, the snowboard designs are actually pretty cool. You can't look at this and tell me these aren't one of the toughest snowboard designs you've ever seen, bro. And then with the special snowboard designs, you can do a freaking rocket ship, a guitar, and surfboards, a freaking dolphin, rebalance board, a freaking rug, and you can also snowboard on thin air too. If you didn't feel like packing a snowboard that day. It's a pretty cool selection of stuff. And I'm glad they had the creativity to include special designs in their things. So now for Mount Angrio, or however the fuck it's pronounced. You're able to select between day and sunset. Guess it's too dangerous for night, I guess. In the mountain, there are a lot of some more what looks like natural stuff instead of stuff that was built there. It even happens one of my favorite games to play on We Ski and Snowboard that isn't an actual game on the game. I call it Last One Down the Mountain's a Bitch. There's a lot of stuff going on in this mountain, so you're pretty much bound to trip at any point going down the mountain. You could even get caught in the fucking avalanche. So yeah, going down this mountain feels pretty fucking chaotic if you're not really that careful. There's also this big ass edge that's there. Probably the biggest fucking place that you can jump from in We Ski and Snowboard. I mean, why the hell wouldn't you go down this thing? You can do like a shitload of tricks on it, but the side effect, 9 times out of 10, you pretty much just trip. At least your character can't break bones, I guess. And if you don't want to freaking ride it all the way down the mountain, there are definitely a lot of other stuff you can do with this mountain. I guess like going through rails and stuff, and all that stuff. There's also a whole ass pit that you can fall through, by the way. Somebody could probably die doing that, but I guess the mountain's not responsible for any injuries. So yeah. There's also a secret course you could go through in Mount Angrio. I mean, it pretty much speaks for itself, because I don't really know how to describe all this shit. It's generally a good looking spot in the snow resort. Even for a Wii game. A third party Wii game at that. Now, with these mountains getting hard to go through, if you have party members, it's pretty hard to find each other. If you're already down the mountain and other party members are still stuck up there, it'll take you a good ass while for all the other party members to get down there. Once you get down the mountain, to get back up to places without pausing the game and looking at the map, you use a whole freaking helicopter to get you up there. I don't know where they land or where you start from, but yeah, it's definitely better than going on the freaking lift. I guess that's also the part of the uniqueness in this course. It's a lot of more dangerous shit. It's stuff that you wouldn't find in the Jamboree Snow Resort. I also feel like the mountain is kind of more realistic than the Jamboree Snow Resort. The Jamboree Snow Resort kind of has more cartoonish stuff. Aside from the resort and the mountain, there are also competitions, which include stuff like doing races, slalom challenges, lope challenges, half pipes, and moguls, which I didn't feel like went. And there's also a school, which you can learn from basics and tricks. There's also portable audio device settings, which has like a bunch of songs, specifically 45 songs that you can choose from other Namco games. And I'm not gonna lie, some of these soundtracks are actually pretty good ones. It's definitely a neat feature that they didn't need to add, so I'm glad they found the efforts to make it anyway. And if you get tired of the Jamboree Snow Resort's radio station, or not being able to hear music at all from the mountain, you can just put this shit on, I guess. The last thing I want to mention from this game is being able to take photos in the game. Being able to take the photos from plenty of different places in the different ski resorts, and also being able to select the different poses and the number of people that are in the photo. Once the photo is taken, you're able to put it in the Wii message board and use it in the photo channel for any types of use, really.
Well, that's We Ski and Snowboard. This game's kind of interesting though, because for a third-party Wii game it feels like it would be shovelware. But at least it's the type of shovelware you actually enjoy, not wondering what the fuck you just played for a good however much time you played the game for.
It's definitely one of the third-party Wii games that you'll actually find joy of playing. It's not really a game that I would be choosing over some of my other games, but let me tell you, it's definitely a cool-ass game. You can definitely tell that Namco put their efforts into making this game, because it has a lot of shit and cool details. And for anybody who's looking to collect Wii games, I definitely recommend one of these games. Or go vacation if you really want.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a game that I've owned since I was 6 years old.
But that's pretty much all I have to say about the game, I guess. Yippee!